Shelesnikova, and I'm in 12th grade.
My name is Isaiah Roberts, and I'm a junior.
My name is Evans Francois, and I'm a senior in the Ingenuity program here at Poly.
Hello everyone, my name is John Halpin, and I'm a senior at class of 2019.
My name is Omar Baladi Odedoyan, and I'm a senior.
My name is Jara Omar, I'm a junior.
Okay, my name is Michelle Mokaya, and I am a senior.
I chose to do research in my 10th grade year. We had an intro to research class, and in that class we looked at different articles and things like that to see where our interest in STEM lies. From there I was like, yeah, I'd really like to do more research into this. I would like to spend my junior year doing things regarding this same topic.
I chose to do research because I thought it would be a valuable experience going into college in terms of getting basically real-world job experience and in a professional setting and at a very high level of STEM research that you pretty much can't get anywhere else in high school.
I chose to do research because I thought that it was an opportunity that basically no one else in other high schools ever gets, and it was basically a really straightforward channel into like high-level research at a university, which I've never heard of before.
So in the 9th grade, my mom was in the car and she was driving. She told me that there was an opportunity to do research at Hopkins, and I was just really excited about that. But she was like, you would have to keep your grades up, you would have to be able to juggle school and also doing lab work. And so I was just really interested in that because I also interested in neuroscience, and I thought that would be a nice pathway for me to dip my feet into something really cool.
So my research project had to deal with looking at cockroaches and seeing how they use their antenna to navigate through rough and cluttered terrain. And the idea of this is to look at this to see how we can make cockroach-inspired robots later in the future.
So for my research project, I was developing a diagnostic procedure to better detect this parasite called Schistosoma mansoni.
Well, as of now, I'm examining shorelines of Mars by looking at pictures taken of Mars by their satellites.
So I was interested in a gene called fatty acid binding protein 2 that is found in both humans and zebrafish. So what I did was I tried to mutate this gene in zebrafish in order to see potentially what adverse effects that might have, because the gene has a link to diabetes.
So I was in a DNA nanotechnology lab, and I was doing computer simulations of DNA nanotubes.
If I had to say time management.
For sure, time management.
Time management.
A big one is like time management, because this is really crucial. So I had to be able to learn that I'm not going to have time to do all my lab work and everything else, so I'm going to have to plan everything else.
So we had to deal with school, with our research, like in a professional setting, so we had to make sure that we balance the two, know where to set aside our time, know how much time it takes to write our papers, to do our slides, to present at these meetings.
So learning how to read a lot of papers fast and get as much information as possible from them.
I gained a lot of skills. So first of all, the techniques pertinent to my actual research. I learned how to do a lot of super technical biological techniques, but I also learned how to work in a professional environment. I was spending a lot of time with like PhD professors and grad students.
Like writing skills, so with the research assignments we got, such as the article summaries and also like writing a huge big research paper, definitely improved my communication skills.
I learned how to email people and have meetings, and I generally just learned communication skills, so I think that was the main thing.
Also, another thing is communication. So I was able to network a lot, especially with my undergrads and the postdocs, and I just got a lot of contact information. Some of my ideas that I implemented into my research came from big talks that our lab had with other labs in collaboration. So it was really nice to get those two skills of time management and communication and networking.
My favorite part, I really like the freedom that came with it. So there were times when I was alone and I kind of just had to like figure out like what's the next step, using like an approach of trial and error to optimize my protocol was really fun.
So my favorite part of the research was being in a professional lab setting and see how research is done. Another thing, I just like the community. It was like a big support, and so that whole supportive group, the whole vibe, was really awesome.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this part, but reading the papers is very interesting to me, finding out what's new in the field.
My favorite part is the results, because they're pretty cool. You basically turn a picture into a whole graph, and it's a long process, but the results are worth it.
My favorite part of research has to be symposium at the end of the year, when everyone comes together and we all sort of share our research to a larger community, and it's just a really awesome celebration of what makes research great.
All the terminology, keeping up with new protocols, and understanding that, especially within biology and working with cells and stuff like that, a lot of things can go wrong and you have to be patient.
So I think I got discouraged many times along the way. Just I'm not really getting the results I want to see from this. So just trying to like be focused on like the future of like, oh, it's fine if we don't get what we want to see. Like this is all about like exploring our possibilities and whatnot.
Just having planned things out for one thing and then having to scrap that and rewrite it, that took a while.
That was a big thing, trying to keep up with my projects and trying to stay original, because there's a lot of projects already being done. So the hardest part for me was to see what is not being done and then do that.
Yeah, so during my research, I messed up a lot. Like, I had all sorts of failures in my experiments, and I got immensely frustrated with myself, but, you know, and then I got some rest, thought about my situation, tried again, and lo and behold, I got it to work.
Things kept going wrong over and over and over again, and that was like my entire project, fixing things that were going wrong. And I basically overcame it by just like, when something went wrong, I decided I would just work through it and make sure that I finished it and went to the next step.
I'm currently in a setback. Basically, the mice that we're working with at lab, something went wrong with their genotype, and basically it probably gonna result in us having to rework 6 months worth of experiments.
Well, my first month in the research process, I thought my results were correct, but it turns out that they were actually wrong, so I spent a month doing the wrong thing, and it was kind of bad.
Yes, so it was in the mid, like this time last year, so we're getting ready for competitions, the midterm papers on there, all of my data's on there, and like one day I just can't find my flash drive, and like I'm looking, it's like 10 a.m. Well, not 10 a.m., 10 p.m. and me and my mom are outside looking in the dark, and I found out that like I crushed my flash drive. So luckily my mentor saved all of my data, and like most of my assignments were on like Google Drive, so it wasn't like the end of the world, but it was really traumatic.
I would just advise never give up. There's always something you can do to fix your scenario in your research, and sometimes the solution can be as simple as just clearing your mind.
Some advice that I would give is just to understand the workload that research comes with. Like, you leave school in the middle of the day for a reason. You need that time, and it's not just something easy you have to do. When you're not in lab, you still have to do work for lab. You know, you have to write your papers, you have to do article summaries, literature reviews. So it's a lot of work. It's doable, but it's a lot of work. So just be prepared for that workload.
Constantly ask people questions, no matter how dumb they sound, because they'll understand where you're coming from as well. Understand that not only you're doing research as a high school student, but you also have other things like sports and schoolwork. So,
Well, if you don't like reading, I think you want to kind of check up on that, and also just do something you like, because if you don't like it, it's just gonna be painful.
Yeah, I would say definitely be open with the research, with your research opportunities. Some people have a very specific thing in mind. Like when I came in, I was like, I really only want to do marine biology, but then I realized that wasn't really a good idea, because that was a very limited group of potential professors that I could talk to.
I think you should just try it out. At the end of it, like research, it really isn't for everyone, but like just having the opportunity to like test it out and see like what you like, what you don't like. It's all about the experience.
But also you have to realize that it's going to be kind of a lot, but it's doable. It's a lot, but it's doable. It may look intimidating at first, but you would just know that you would have to plan a lot of things out.
I think that research is like nothing you really expect, and especially the idea of having a big independent project for yourself, that's pretty unrealistic. You have to take it slowly, and you have to go with the flow.